Meanwhile, first we nominated President Kufuor nominated Ben Kofi. Ben Kofi, a bit elderly. I think he's passed on.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, Ben Kofi. And after that, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. It was during Nyaho's time there were some issues, and Nyaho resigned, and then President, I think, sent him out as an ambassador. I was of the view, say, let's go ahead and appoint another, because that was what was pertaining. FIFA had no issues with that. FIFA only comes in when there's confusion. So, but we are a sovereign country. I think we should go back to that relationship.
Let's not go back to that.
We should go back to that.
Appointed every chairman.
Not they always bring two nominees, football people, because
we choose one.
And it was working, it was smooth. When it got to the NDC time, there was a lot of tension, because they wanted somebody who they wanted to be comfortable, and I think that's what they reserve that right. Almost football, my views on it. I've said it to many people personally and talked to them, and I remember in 2006 telling certain NDC seniors at Hoy, and I think Ernest Thompson, Michelle Stadium, Ofansa funeral, I said, I'm catching them, say, Mamma fat politics, MFRA football. In now, walk we saw has, Yenshana ball in Kuyi. The president has to have an eye in football, because football is so critical for Ghana. Obviously, there be a Congress. As if football is an island. It's not an island. So I'm sure. What has happened? A few people took over football, because the Congress has only 120 people, and you know what happens. I mean, to control 120 people is not. It's you know, especially at the time when money came into football. That was the first time we went to a World Cup, 26, 2010, 2014, and anything that goes to the World Cup gets at no less than $10 million. Never accounted to anybody. People became law unto themselves, and I kept advising. I even called Alaji Jawula, so friend Abusano. I've had to talk to Nana Brew Butler. I'm a friend Pennyfun. We said, look, let's sit down and get back to this arrangement that worked for Ghana. After all, President Yon appointed Chief Justice, or appointed Electoral Commissioner, or appointed Chief of Defense Staff, any IGP, you know. Bank of Ghana, or appointed. Now, the football is this special. So, football is only Ghana Football Association. And so, who is in charge of Ghana? It's the president. So, at least every 4 years, he is accountable to the people. But to have a football that has become an island, FIFA, are they God? FIFA is under the rules of Switzerland, one small country that does not play much football anyway. In Sensemaba FIFA, it was the prosecutor general in Zurich who ordered investigation into FIFA's and they are not a law unto themselves. I cannot understand why they want to behave as if if we are they can enter into any country and do what they want. And I remember when we were in government, I was trying to prevail on our sports minister to you get all African ministers to stop FIFA. Where is CAF? Do you ever hear of CAF? Why should there be FIFA when there is no CAF? If we are Ghana, if there's anybody to interact with, it has to be CAF. Why do we go to FIFA? We just say, would they unfan say CAF? FIFA bear some terrorist organization here, and look at what happened. The corruption that engulfed it. It was only exposed because the Americans and the Russians. The Americans lost the bid for the World Cup.
And
the English lost. They were so furious, and they started digging into it. And I'm sure some of these tapes that are coming. I saw Daily Telegraph. Yeah. It is something that the British did because they never were satisfied with the decision to hand over 2018 to Russia and 2022 to Qatar, because they knew something was going on in football. And a lot has happened. It's unfortunate a player like Michel Platini had to fall. All these things happening. I think locally, let's get down to basics. Let the football people meet and understand that it is the government's money that we use to build stadia. It's the people's money that we use to support the national team. And then there will not be one tradition.
Well. Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the show. It's going to be explosive, isn't it? Kisi Ajabi is a disgrace. He's a total disgrace, Kisi Ajabi. Disgrace. Tonight, he's in trouble. He's dead tonight. Yeah, we're going to lay him. Remember the platform that Abraham put Isaac on? That he raised the thing to cut Isaac's neck, and the Lord said, don't. Look on your right. He said, he's lying here. He's here. Total disgrace. Complete disgrace. Total disgrace. Anyway. Okay. Welcome to the show. Tonight we have a lot to talk about, don't we? We have so much to talk about. One, Mandela here, I'll be talking about him. So let me just give you the background of why I'm playing Sholoza for you, and then I'll play it again. During the, I like the shot. Please, let's use a lot of this shot. During the break, they called me and said, when my boss calls me, I know that they are going to tell me that Good Evening Ghana has to step aside for something. So he called me, Nat. He said, Paulus. I said, hello. You there? I said, I did. He said, Charlie, small matter. I said, you want to take off the program? I said, small matter. AFCON is coming. But you like ball. We all like ball. So some of your programs, you can't do it. So we have to show AFCON. I said, but it's nice that Metro is showing AFCON. I thought GBC would show it. I said, no, we are going to show it as well. I said, great. Then at the same time, I got a call from my friends in Soweto. And then they said, Baba, since 2014, you haven't been to Soweto. Wow, that's true. 10 years. And they said, but now there's no visa to South Africa from Ghana. And you are still not coming. I said, you know what? It's summer in South Africa, isn't it? How come? Just organize a ticket for me. Then they said, send your passport. The same thing. I said, but you have my passport already. They said, but that's 10 years ago. I said, but I don't do football age. But that's 10 years ago. No, my passport is the same. The same age. The year that I was born is the same. My name hasn't changed from class 1 up to the end of my education. My name is the same. Some people, they start with Oliver Vomao, then they are called something else. Then in the middle, they are called something. My name doesn't change anywhere. From class 1, day 1, Paul Adom Ochri, up to everywhere, same. Date of birth, same. Nothing has changed. So take the same passport. They say, then they send the passport to me. I said, it is correct. So they organized my ticket. I went to Soweto. That was the day, the Ghana's first game. I was in Soweto. The day, the one that they keep very people, Charlie, the people were feeling so sad for me. And that day, I had gone to have lunch in Soweto, and I want to talk about that street in Soweto. I'll just show you this video. This is, when that day I wasn't feeling too well, but my friends in Soweto had called me, had arrived, they had picked me from the airport. It's beautiful weather in Johannesburg. I had not been in 10 years. It's a place that I love because of its history. And tonight I'm going to share some of that history with you. But this is what happened when I arrived in Soweto 10 years after I had been there, to a new group of people that I had never met. But my friends took me and they said, this is what happens in Soweto these days. So we'll go on the very famous Soweto street, and that's what I'll be telling you about. It's a street I think it's the richest street in Africa in terms of its history, not money, but its history. This is a street in Soweto on which lived Oliver Tambo, on which lived Reverend, what's his name again? Archbishop Desmond Tutu, on which lived Walter Sisulu, and on which lived Chris Hani. Same small streets, everybody's house is there. So it's the biggest tourist attraction in Soweto. So I went there, and that's Chris Hani behind me. I'll be telling you about him a little bit. That's Oliver Tambo. I'll be telling you about him. And that is Walter Sisulu. I'll be telling you about the three of them, the South African quartet. But this is how I was welcomed in Soweto. 2 videos. First of all, young men came to me when they saw that I was with their sort of bosses. So these people invited me as journalists and lawyers who practice in Johannesburg. They are good friends of mine. We share a lot of jokes together. We share a lot of thoughts together. And we always are concerned about Africa. And we talk a lot about Africa and how African democracy can work, how West Africa is different from South Africa. And we've had this conversation since we were doing postgraduate training. And we've stayed as friends for that long. Okay, so here is the first video.
Welcome to Soweto, welcome to our family from Ghana, welcome to Mandela, welcome to my name is Sheikh, and in the Sheikh I might be there cause I respect Soweto, welcome to Soweto, welcome to our show, Sholoza, Ulezuntaba, Stimela, Mandela, welcome to Mandela, welcome to Mandela, welcome to Mandela, welcome to our parents. Welcome to Soweto, welcome to our family from Ghana, welcome to Mandela, welcome to my name is Sheikh, and in the Sheikh I might be there cause I respect Soweto, welcome to Soweto, welcome to our show, Sholoza, Ulezuntaba, Stimela, Mandela, welcome to Mandela, welcome to Mandela, welcome to Mandela, welcome to
All right, so so that was my Soweto experience. Let me now talk about, tonight we have a lot to talk about, so let me finish with the South African story. We'll bring our table back and then we hit it very hard on our new touch screen. Okay, can I stand this side of the touch screen? Is it okay? All right, the NDC side of the touch screen. So viewers, give me a long shot, let me show the viewers. So when this is the NDC side of the touch screen, this is the NPP side of the touch screen, you know, so yeah, this is election year. We're going to deliver it so powerfully that you will not even believe that you are watching Ghanaian television. We're going to make it solid, okay? We have a team. The young people, they are brutal. So this is Walter Sisulu. All right, so this is the South African conversation. For men, I believe, I regret to tell this story because I cannot really have a woman in, so sometimes I bring Miriam Makeba, sometimes I bring Winnie Mandela in the story, but this is a story of 4 South African men. Dennis, they say our network is down. What's the problem? Sorry, viewers, if you are watching on social media, they are reporting that our network is going up and down. So I'm sorry about it if you're experiencing this. But Dennis is here. He's just sat on the computer. He's trying to get it sorted. All right. So, so these are 4 people who are very important to the South African story. All right. So let me start with Nelson Mandela. Okay. So Mandela, we all know, Mandela, blah, 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 became the ultimate. But Nelson Mandela was the deputy leader of the African National Congress. He was not the leader. He was actually the leader of Inkonto Wesizwe, which is the armed wing of the African National Congress, which was later on led by Chris Hani. But Mandela was the deputy leader of the African National Congress, the political party that is in power in South Africa today, and the political party on whose amalgamation the South African struggle continued. The ANC did not just expose the apartheid regime and begin to deploy an independence narrative in South Africa, but it's also inspired the move in Zambia, in Zimbabwe, in Lesotho, and in most of the Southern African countries. So most of the political parties formed in Southern Africa are carved around the image, the philosophy, the psychology, and the presentation of the African National Congress. So it's not a one-country political party. It's a political movement that liberated Southern Africa. Remember the names of Robert Mugabe, Robert Nkomo, this Southwest African leader, SWAPO. His name is, it's going to come. It will come. All right. So the ANC inspired all of that, including the Desmond Tutu I talked about, Kaunda of Zambia, and all of those people, all the way perhaps even to Jomo Kenyatta in Kenya, in East Africa, and then even to Somalia. So Mandela was the deputy leader. Okay, I'll explain to you what happened then. All right. Now I'm looking for Oliver. Oliver Tambo. I'm going to get him in a minute. Yes, that's Oliver. So Oliver Tambo is the leader of the African National Congress. He was a lawyer who then worked with Nelson Mandela in his law firm. Their law firm is like the Akufo-Addo law firm. They were just human rights because in those days they fought the apartheid regime and people were getting arrested. People who go to work get arrested for staying at home when the ANC calls for strike. So Oliver and Nelson became the heroes of these persons. They took them to court and they got bail for them and then they got their rights for them, etc., etc. So Oliver was the key figure of the African National Congress. The question then is, why didn't Oliver become the leader after Mandela went to prison? After Mandela came out of prison. So Mandela came out of prison as the deputy leader of the African National Congress. The substantive leader was Oliver. It was after Mandela came from prison that the African National Congress called an emergency Congress, and Oliver agreed to hand over the leadership to Nelson because Nelson had become the global figure and the global representation of the South African struggle. Okay, so Oliver Tambo was the leader. When Mandela went to jail, the African National Congress and its supporters, now who were the supporters of the African National Congress? Principally, Colonel Gaddafi, Fidel Castro, and Yasser Arafat, who was also liberating the Palestinian area. These were the principal supporters. A lot of Gaddafi's money, a lot of Fidel Castro's money went into support the African National Congress. It was Fidel Castro's support for the African National Congress in Southern Africa that occasioned Che Guevara's activities in Mozambique when Renamo and Frelimo were fighting in the independence struggle. Che Guevara's activities in the Southern African region was occasioned by Fidel Castro's support for the African National Congress. And because the African National Congress was banned in South Africa itself, the African National Congress allowed itself to mushroom in many of these African countries around South Africa to conduct the struggle, the independence struggle around those days. I'm talking about the 60s. I wasn't born then, forgive me. The 60s, the 70s, the 80s, what we came to meet, up to the independence of Robert Mugabe. And that is why the celebrated reggae musician Bob Marley played the song, Africans That Liberate Zimbabwe, in 1980. He was talking about Zimbabwe, but the song was Africans That Liberate Zimbabwe. It was about that. So the ANC is a major issue in South Africa and in Southern Africa. It's not simple. And so Oliver Tambo is not simple. Okay. So Oliver agreed to hand over the leadership to Nelson Mandela because Nelson had become more prominent. Now, what happened when Nelson went to jail? When Nelson went to jail, it was decided that Oliver should go abroad because they would jail him as well. So he left to London. And that's when he left with some of the people. So some of the activists, those who were in school, the late teenagers and the 20-year-olds, they all exited with Oliver to London. They were exiled in London, and their base was the School of Oriental and African Studies, the University of London, SOAS, where I studied. That was the base of the South African exiles. So SOAS conducts a lot of these African fora and all of that since the 60s because they hosted the liberating stragglers from South Africa, and a lot of them went to SOAS. Mbeki went to SOAS. All of them studied there. So Oliver was in London, and Nelson was in jail, and the struggle continued. Miriam Makeba went to West Indies and performed in America, got married to Harry Belafonte, who was big at that time. Harry Belafonte was by Martin Luther King. When Martin Luther King was shot, in that big walk when he was shot, Harry Belafonte is pictured with him on that day. So Harry Belafonte was quite heavy. And Harry Belafonte dedicated his popularity and his music to the liberation of Africa and the liberation of the black people. And that's why they were well connected to Kwame Nkrumah. And Harry Belafonte married Miriam Makeba. So Miriam Makeba's image was bigger, and she had used that and applied that to support the liberation struggle back in her home South Africa. So that was what the South African struggle was about. Oliver was in England. So when Nelson went to jail, Nkonto Wesizwe, which is the armed wing of the African National Congress, heavily supported by Colonel Gaddafi and his arms, was sort of going to die. So Chris Hani became the leader of Nkonto Wesizwe. I hope it's not too long. My producer is signaling me that it's getting too long. We have a lot to say about John Mahama, about Asidun Ketia, about people swearing that their children should die, about Kisia Jabe, about Black Stars, who do everything. Okay, so this is Chris Hani. Yeah, okay, I've done 5 minutes. I'll do another 2 minutes. This is Chris Hani. Chris Hani became the leader of Nkonto Wesizwe. It's important. Keep an eye on Chris Hani. I'm telling you the South African story. He became, and get me Shosholoza, by the way, stand by, I'll take it again. Chris became the leader of Nkonto Wesizwe. It's translated to mean the spear of the nation. It was the arm wing of the South African National Congress. And it was Nkonto's activities that actually took Mandela to jail. So Chris became the leader of Nkonto. To be leader of Nkonto, Chris was not completely safe in Soweto. So he was in Soweto sometimes, he's in Harare sometimes, he's in Bulawayo sometimes, in Zimbabwe, he's in Lusaka sometimes, and he's running around the place. He's connecting with Colonel Gaddafi all the time. And that you can now understand why Gaddafi was so dear to Nelson Mandela. Okay, so this is Chris Hani, right? And Oliver is gone. Walter Sisulu is mixed race, you can see. And in those days, it's not very easy for a mixed race person to dedicate his brain, I think he was an economist, to dedicate his brain and his support to the African National Congress. He was not going to be captured by the white people. He was not going to be blocked as a black person because he's their man. But Walter Sisulu chose the more difficult path. He could have lived his life as a South African white Dutch, British, and be okay, but he associated with the struggles of Nelson Mandela. He associated with the African National Congress. And out of Walter Sisulu has been born some of the white people with the ANC, like Trevor Manuel, who is the eternal finance minister of the country, he was Mandela's finance minister, he was Thabo Mbeki's finance minister, only Jacob Zuma sacked him. But Trevor Manuel became a great South African white politician with the African National Congress, and that story came down from Walter Sisulu. So this is Walter Sisulu. Now these are the people, I say they are the four South African quartet. Let me now finish the story. Walter Sisulu was the one that gave the African National Congress its international globalized image and gave the African National Congress significant credibility, because he, coming from that race, supporting the African National Congress against his kind of race people, made people believe that the African National Congress has a great story to tell. Now, Oliver Tambo, of course, is the head of the organization. Chris Hani is now running Nkonto Wesizwe, which is carrying out the South African struggle in a significant manner. And Nelson Mandela is the eternal boss in jail in Cape Town for all those years. Okay, so what happens? Mandela comes from jail. So I've given you the story of Oliver Tambo, why he's important. Now Mandela is out of jail. The party leadership has been handed over to Nelson Mandela. But there's no timetable for the South African action. I'm talking about 1994, I believe. This story is 1994. There's a book entitled 8 Days in South Africa. And that's where I'm getting all this information from. And there's another book that was given to us in school. It's entitled The South African Tripod. You can look at it. The South African Tripod. That also tells all the story that I'm saying. So Mr. Mandela is now the leader of the African National Congress. But there's no timetable for... I should stand here. Okay. I'm moving to the MPP side, though. I'm moving to the MPP side. But I want a close-up shot. Perfect. All right. So the African National Congress is unbanned, but there's no timetable for elections, and Mandela is waiting. Then one Saturday morning, Chris Hani is picking up newspapers from outside his home. Chris Hani is a major hero of the South African youth. People like Julius Malema, whom we'll be talking about tonight, they eulogize and idolize Chris Hani. They all were trained by Chris Hani. The current president, what's his name? The South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa, trained by Chris Hani. Jacob Zuma, trained by Chris Hani. Who else can? Tokyo Sexuale, trained by Chris Hani. Everybody was trained by Chris Hani. Because once Mandela went to jail, Chris Hani was the boss. He was running the show. And the African National Congress was banned. But Nkonto was a guerrilla movement, so you cannot really ban it. So that's where the action was. And they were doing a lot of kidnapping here. They were doing things to raise alarm for the purpose of the struggle in South Africa. Chris Hani is picking up newspapers from his home on one Saturday morning, 1994, and he's shot dead. Alarm blows in South Africa. This Sholoza song you are hearing, they played it the whole day. Within 1 hour or 2 hours, about 300 white people have been killed. Major bloodbath in South Africa that Saturday morning. Nelson Mandela is in his home, and I'll tell you about the street. He's in his home in Soweto. And then the National Party, that is in power through F.W. de Klerk, make a phone call to Nelson Mandela and say, Chief, we need to talk to you. Mandela said, what about? He said, you can see what's happening in Johannesburg. We need to talk to you. So Mandela says, okay, talk to me. They said, well, from all our conversations, from all our research, from all our security reports, the only thing that can end the bloodbath in South Africa this Saturday morning is when you, Nelson, speak to the nation on national television. And Nelson said, what do you want me to say? And they said, well, you have to tell your people to stop killing the white people. And we have arrested the one who killed Chris Hani. We have arrested him, and it was a white woman who told us that this is the guy who shot Chris Hani. So it was a white woman who told us that the white man has shot Chris Hani. So we have the information. We have arrested the murderer. Mandela said, I can talk to my people, but you have to give me a timetable. What are we doing? I've come out of jail. I'm sitting at home. What are we doing? Our ANC has been unbanned, but when is the next election? When are we taking power for our people? They said, okay. Mandela said, well, you have to make a decision. So this is around 11 o'clock. Mandela goes away. Mandela is in the company of Ramaphosa, who is president today, Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu. Chris Hani is dead, by the way. So everybody's crying. All right. So at about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, according to the account, Mandela is called back to the national headquarters in Pretoria. And there in Pretoria, Mandela is told that, okay, so this is the timetable for the election. So registration will start today. Voters will register. The African National Congress can participate in the election. So this is the timetable. Mandela says, thank you. He goes on national television, and you can Google the video. He says that a white man today killed Chris Hani. But it was a white woman who told the police about this white person whose name is so and so and so, who has killed Chris Hani. We are terribly disappointed, but we are not going to take the whole country down. Now, this is the timetable for elections. He announces the timetable. The African National Congress is able to participate in the election. And so this is what happened in South Africa, and that is why Chris Hani became such an important person in my quartet. So it was the murder of Chris Hani that then brought the timetable about. And so when I go to Soweto all the time, I get excited. Now on the street, I'll show you the video again. On the street that the guys met me, were doing that street is a very short street. So I don't know where you live, but if you live in Kumasi, for instance, and you are in Ahonjo roundabout, so the street is like from Ahonjo roundabout to the Chinese restaurant. I've forgotten what it's called. From Ahonjo, it's in Nshaiso actually. So in Nshaiso, I mean, the roundabout to the Chinese restaurant in Accra. If you know the University of Ghana very well, you can look at, say, the road in front of Volta Hall. That's between Volta Hall and the School of Administration. Yes, that's that very simple road. You can look at it and then you see what we are talking about. So on that street lived Desmond Tutu. On that street lived Chris Hani. It's a very short street. On that street lived Nelson Mandela. And on that street lived Walter Sisulu. So whenever there's always a lot of police action there. And that's how he became famous. So people found that the police are always coming to this street. They are putting barricades. They seem to be waiting for somebody because they are arresting Mandela, they are arresting Oliver, they are arresting Walter, or they are arresting Chris Hani all the time. And the house is still there. Tourists go there and they are told, and you see the number there. You see now, you enter the house, Nelson Mandela's photographs are still there with Winnie Mandela and the children. And this is the way they live. Nelson Mandela's pen, how he used to write, he has a small round table there. That house is still available and you can see. So that's the street that I went on. And I've been there a million times. Anytime I go to Soweto, I want to visit that, associate myself with the great history, the rich history of African liberation struggle. So let's watch the Street Boys again. They gave me a good welcome.
Welcome to Soweto, welcome to our family from Ghana, welcome to Mandela, welcome to my name is Sheikh, I'm in the Sheikh, I might be there because I respect Soweto, welcome to Soweto, welcome to our show, Sholoza, Ulezuntaba, Stimela, Mandela, welcome to Mandela, welcome to Mandela, welcome to Mandela, welcome to our welcome to Soweto, welcome to our family from Ghana, welcome to Mandela, welcome to my name is Sheikh, I'm in the Sheikh, I might be there because I respect Soweto, welcome to Soweto, welcome to our show, Sholoza, Ulezuntaba, Stimela, Mandela, welcome to Mandela, welcome to Mandela, welcome to Mandela, welcome.
All right, so we're going to take a short break. We need to. But when we come back, we start with President John Dramani Mahama. He made a statement that Ghana is broke, something like that, so he's not able to promise. We're going to interrogate that statement in some significant detail. And then we have Kisi Ajabe, who has gone to court and had a very dramatic failure in court and is spinning some story that he's withdrawing from some Cecilia Dapa matter, and it's not true, viewers. He's hoodwinking us, you know. He's spinning the story. I will tell you tonight the details of what happened in court. You see, you know how he is. He takes drones to Cecilia Dapa's home to go and show journalists that he's searching and make a grand appearance of himself. Then he goes to court and tells the judge that he wants an in-camera hearing of the application that he has filed against Cecilia Dapa. He wants to do it in private. So he wants to argue the application in private. When they went into private, I'll tell you, it's coming. He's such a total disgrace. Kisi Ajabe is a total disgrace. Embarrassment, bad one. And I'll tell you the details. And tonight, I have two issues on Kisi Ajabe. You see, I'll pick up, can you give me the mask guy, the guy with mask? Give me the guy with mask. I'm going to pick up my football story from that angle. We have looked at football. I'm just giving you the lineup before we take the break, and I'll come to it. It's good that you put them together. We are talking about Black Stars. This is the man responsible for the Black Stars issue. He hoodwinked all of us based on his penchant for glass, his appetite and greed for glass. I'll come to the details of the story. Today, Kisi Ajabe is telling us that Charles Edu Boahen, whose video they had published, receiving money, had not done anything wrong. The same type of video they published that Kwesi Nyantakyi has done something wrong. He, Kisi Ajabe, whose company Kwesi Nyantakyi was in before he walked into the lion's den of an ass. Kwesi Nyantakyi, he was in Kisi Ajabe's company. He was standing with him. On his way to the lion's den of an ass, Kisi Ajabe tells us that the Charles Edu Boahen matter, after we mounted pressure on him, he tells us that the Charles Edu Boahen matter is not guilty. If Charles Edu Boahen matter is a not guilty situation, how is Kwesi Nyantakyi's matter guilty? Tonight, we are coming on to Anas and why Ghana football is conceding to Cape Verde and Comoros. We are coming to that. Next story. It is the New Patriotic Party are going to primaries on Saturday, and we have a lot of it. We're going to have an extensive coverage on social media, in the studio, out of the studio, in Kumasi and in Accra, and we're going to deal with a few matters. I'm going to spend some time tonight to speak about Asensu Boakye because he's been targeted by Kennedy Japan, and a few things have been said about him. The point of my interest in Asensu Boakye's story is an editorial that was presented by Samson Ladi Ayenini of Joy FM in defense of Francis Asensu Boakye. I'm completely delighted by that editorial, and I'll be making statements about it tonight. Is there any other story we've left out? Producer, tell me which other one. I'm giving the line up and we're going to a break. So I've dealt with it. Oh, yes! Johnson Asiedu Nkatia. He says that he wasn't in Tamale. But tonight, I'll show you why there was a problem in Tamale between Asiedu Nkatia and Haruna Idrisu supporters. It was reported that Asiedu Nkatia took to his heels. I've even prepared a cartoon for that. I'll share with you. He took to his heels. He says it's not him. He says he wasn't there. It's unfortunate that the lady was beaten up. I think that in politics, nobody should be beaten up, whether it's a man or it's a lady. Nobody should be beaten up. But it's worse if men beat a lady. I think that is to be condemned. Absolutely condemned. But I'll tell you the story behind why Johnson Asiedu Nkatia is fighting Haruna Idrisu and why we're going to have some difficulties in there. And then we'll look at Michael Kwe Jr., who is running in Domi Kwabenya. By the grace of God, he will win. And then we also look at the contest with Haiwa Kumsin, who the GJ is saying something about. I've asked for the story. I think by the time I take a break, I would have read it on my phone and I can deal with this in a better way, because the GJ is saying something about Haiwa Kumsin that is surprising to me, but I want to interrogate it. And then when we come to GFA, they say there's some woman in GFA who is holding a handbag and spending taxpayers' money about women's football. We will be dealing with that as well. So, with all that, please stay with us. Tonight I have a lot to say. Give me the Chocholoza one more as we march them off to the break, and then we'll bring the table back. Let it come, let it come, let it come. Let's do the Chocholoza dance, and that will be our political montage for this year. Chocholoza.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fair missy way.
Repacho Bantama.
Machasi.
Cycle.
It's her smile, the fresh breath.
Me Gidi said we use Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind. Cal 360 toothpaste.
Gaskia, Cal 360 toothpaste.
It's a gum protector. Kel 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling kika when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Have you been to Aqua Safari lately? Let me share my experience with you at the new Aqua Safari Resort. When you arrive, you're greeted by warm smiles and introduced to your 24-hour butler who already has your itinerary sorted. Enjoy water sports activities like jet ski rides, kayaking, water sliding, flyboarding, and castnet fishing. You can even have your lunch here on the boat cruise. Experience horseback riding, tennis, and some golfing amongst a host of other activities. Let the tour guides take you through the sceneries of the Volta River, the mangrove forest, the friendliness of the animals, local and exotic birds, while you pet and feed them. You can have this large space for your conferences, corporate retreats, and so many activities as part of the package. We chose to have our breakfast with a beautiful sunrise right in front of our cabin. We had an amazing experience and I can't wait to return for more.
Visit Aqua Safari Eco Resort in Ghana, bringing you closer to nature.
Discover the perfect blend of quality, modern elegance, and affordability with Kingdom Home Real Estate. At Kingdom Home Real Estate, we cater to both local and international clients, offering exceptional housing options in Ebri and Ikropong. Our properties are conveniently located, providing a tranquil atmosphere, top-notch security, and essential amenities such as electricity, water, and backup generators. Our strategic locations offer easy access to popular tourist destinations, all within a 30-minute drive from Accra. Visit us in Ikropong right after the Latte Junction, or in Ebri near the Ebri Girls Senior High School. Alternatively, you can reach us Kingdom Home Real Estate, where your dream home becomes a reality.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bets. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
And when I small, so we are stadium feeling, wow with them. Everything 12 January, I got him say about Afcon every year. My Afcon and Soja call. I won't fear Hisense TV, Amcon TV, and a sound system. Yatisu say who? A Hisense Afcon double promo. The best you Afcon beer. Style of Afcon beer. Can clear our Hisense and the Amcon TV so. Sadonga Yedida. That's a commentary no so chagua. Tieni clear our Hisense sound system so. Bora Hisense showroom bia. Na ube usa ya TV and the sound system so. Esan Afcon inti. Sa uta dia wa Hisense ya. Wasu Jones Hisense nkwa na ma 5 years manufacturer defect warranty. Sa Afcon radio. Yama ni jeno anya double. If you say Hisense will hammer Hisense. Yeah, they want to football so. Esan football inti. Hisense shisheka krawo home.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made upgrade models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
For over 20 years of serving the world with herbal and alternative medicine, we've been successful in treating complicated medical conditions with a perfect combination of herbal and alternative methods of treatments like homeopathy, naturopathy, reflexology, and many more. We deliver excellent and effective service to people from all walks of life through scientific and traditional means. We have a well-equipped laboratory with advanced diagnostic and treatment devices to help detect your illness, so we know the right medication to be given. At Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital, we are proud manufacturers of our own herbal medication. Our zeal and passion to save lives with our patients at heart and outstanding achievements since 1996 has won us several awards. That is why we say, go herbal, go Amen. We are located everywhere in all the regions. Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the healer.
Customer.
Mika 10 Ghana.
10 Ghana.
10 Ghana cedis.
Na no dia, say na obenya.
10 Ghana cedis no. Me dia. 54,000 Ghana cedis.
54,000.
540 million.
Yeah. We are the one na me ka me di you. Skase.
Yeah. Ene na giga kika ade tena we. Tena wa boki. Ah, draw no na asase no. Mami mi volume no.
Customer, one of our daily lucky winners. Dial *946# to play now. Or you can also play online at www.gamepackgames.com. Game Park is regulated by the National Lottery Authority.
So, leaders are elected. One of Okay, so welcome back to the show. It's a pleasure again. Now I have my table before me. I'm quite comfortable with that. The politics of 2024 has started. We are putting together a montage of Shosholoza for our elections. But this is President Mahama. He said something that worried me. And I just decided to look at the history of it so we can deal with it here on the show. President Mahama said that the Ghana is broke, something like that. So he's not able to promise, and people shouldn't come and worry him. I think for those who haven't heard it, it's 7 minutes past the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. Let's take the video again. Producer, let's reverse the order. Let's take the video now so that we can put the story in proper context. People who have not seen it, see this video. This is what President Mahama said, and then we'll come and analyze it and interrogate it and give you our opinion of the matter using historical facts.
And I'll plead with the teachers' unions, NAT and NAGRAT and UTAG and TEWU and all of them. And all of you are clamoring for allowances, increase in your allowances, and so on and so forth. Let me caution you that in 2025, inshallah, after we take over, we will show you the books and the finances of this country, and you realize the harm that the MPP administration has done to Ghana's economy. This country is broke. And so we would beg you that when we come into office, give us a bit of a honeymoon. Let's put things in place so that we can bring the economy back on its feet. And when we have done that, we can accede to your demands again. And that's why I'm being very measured in the promises that I make, because we all know the crisis in which this country has been plunged.
So when I heard this as a 21st century African, I was very, very disturbed. And then I just looked at the history of our country and the elections since 2000. And these days I like to limit myself up to 2000 because we've come quite a long way that we have enough examples. I don't understand why President Mahama, my very good friend, was saying that. We do not want leaders in 2024 who are experimenting or who, you know, I used a certain expression. You see, we are looking for leaders who are equal to the know-how. Am I writing it well? K-N-O-W, how. Leaders who have the know-how. We don't want leaders who are telling us that your country is broke, so I can't. We want leaders who have the know-how. And I just checked the history I'm going to share with you today. We have not had any leader saying that. I'm going to show it to you right now. I was totally disappointed, and every day I come to. Somebody saw me on the street. He said, hey, my friend, when you are talking, you say President Mahama's advices. What is President? It is he himself. I said, no, it's not he himself. I know President Mahama. Many people know him. I know him as well. Some people know him more than I know him. I know him more than other people know him. I know President Mahama. It's not him, it's his advisors. Why do you advise a presidential candidate in 2024 to tell the people that he wants to elect them, to tell the people that he wants them to elect him, that the country is broke, so I can't promise teacher training allowances? But this is President Mahama coming from a history of cutting teacher training allowances anyway, and somebody comes to restore it. We are looking for leaders, young people, those of you who are between the ages of 22 and 38. You are looking for a new African leader that thinks possibilities, that says possibilities, who has the know-how, the technical know-how to deliver the job. People don't take the presidency with a bed of roses. People don't take the presidency with gold. They take the presidency, whatever it is, add their brain to it, add their know-how to it, and be able to deliver the things that they promise. Let's go back to President Kufuor. When President Kufuor was running for elections in 2000, Ghana was broke. But he promised F-Cube, free compulsory universal basic education, and NHIS. John Ajekum Kufuor right there. He promised that in 2000 Ghana was broke. He was aware that Ghana is broke. He said, it doesn't matter. I am a leader. If you elect me into leadership, I will give you the know-how. Because I have the know-how and because my team has the know-how, I will deliver you free compulsory universal basic education. He was able to do it. 2000 Ghana was broker, if there's a word like that, broker than today. And our leader, former president, says your country is broke, so your life is only 2,000. So don't come and ask me for something that costs 5,000, because the 2,000 I have, I can't do anything about it. It's 2,000. I am sorry, President Mahama. You can't say that. If you want to lead a generation of young Ghanaians in 2024, you must demonstrate the know-how. You can't come and say you don't have. I will not run for president because I don't have the know-how. But if there's an election for the Director General of GBC, I will run. That one, I have the know-how. If you give me GBC today, I will fix it. I will do it, and I'll bring you my CV. What I've done in 25 years, you will know that I can do GBC. I have the know-how. If you don't have the know-how for president, don't come near it. Presidency is not a bed of roses. It's a thinking job. It's a difficult work. You need a team, a huge team that can think with you. And you need a vision. You need to understand possibilities. You need to understand many things. It is called the know-how. You can't come and tell me I don't have know-how. Your money is 2,000. When I come, I'll do 2,000. Teacher training, please, so I beg you. No, we are tired of that. We are tired of that. Tired of leaders. I mean, we've come from elections where people, before we were born, Obadu Seye and Co used to do elections, where they used to promise people that Kwame Nkrumah will do a train station from here to heaven. And you can sit inside and go to heaven. And they'll be jubilating. There is victory for us. Yeah, that's okay. We've gone through all those processes. Then we came to the place recently as 1992 when people were concerned. For Shikia, Dubois, American Shaw buyer. Then I can make wake, or for Shikia, Dubois, who say, American Shaw buyer, Kumasi, in Shaw one only, I may not make or for Shikia or Hame, go for Shikia, I may know American Shaw buyer, Kumasi. Those who don't understand Ga, to wait a group of people talking about 1992 elections say that if you vote for Professor Dubois, they have been told that Professor Dubois will take the seat to Kumasi. We have come from all those places. Today, where we are and where we stand, we are demanding a leader who has the know-how, but especially for a former president, President Mahama, especially for a former president. Why will you come and say something like that? Especially for a former vice president, who is a former president, who is running for president again, he must be overloaded with the know-how. Donald Trump is flying in America. He's demonstrating that he has the know-how. You have been former president, vice president, and you are coming to run again. You have to show that you are loaded with the know-how, technical know-how. You are loaded. You can't come and be telling me those things. Okay, let's move on. President Kufuor, I'm giving you examples. President Kufuor knew that the country was broke. He said, I'll do you FQ. President Kufuor was able to execute the FQ. Thank you, Mr. Kufuor. Good evening to you. I know you may be asleep. Tomorrow they'll tell you, watch the YouTube. We love you. You did it. And we are following your example. You're a great leader, J. Kufuor. Great leader. In fact, give me Shosholozo for him. The middle one. Give me Shosholozo. I want to praise President Kufuor right now. Release it quickly. 2 minutes, then we go. 1, 2, 3. Let's come to President Mahama's own mentor, Professor Mills. When Professor Mills was campaigning to be president in 2008 election, because he knew that Ghana was not broke and Ghana was good, he said, I will give you a better Ghana. Professor Mills, he said, I will give you a better Ghana. Leaders don't promise to draw us back. Leaders show us the way forward. Leaders don't draw us back. Leaders give us hope. Leaders give us inspiration. Hope and inspiration and possibilities. That is the role of a leader. You don't tell us we are broke, so you can't do anything. Professor Mills, your mentor, the NDC flag bearer for 2008, he was running for election. He looked at Ghana. Ghana was good. He said, I will give you a better Ghana. That is what leadership is about, and I'm disappointed. It's not about Baumia or John Mahama. It's about you and I. Which leader are we electing? Does he have the know-how, or is he going to tell us that we are broke? Professor John Kufuor delivered FQ. Professor Mills didn't quite deliver much, but he promised a better Ghana. That's what he said. And then in 2012, Professor Mills died, and President Mahama became president. Ghana's economic situation, and is documented in all the records. Ghana's economic situation since 2000 has not been worse than 2014, 15, and 16. Tell me it has been worse than that. In the history of this country since 2000, Ghana's economic situation has not been worse than the Doomsday era. It was in these circumstances that Adodankwa Akufo-Addo campaigned for election. It was in these circumstances. What did he say? He said, the training college that you have cut, I will restore it. He said, the nurses training college, I will restore it. He said, I'll do free SHS. He said, I'll do one district, one factory. Ghana was broke because we are looking for leaders who inspire our people. What is a leader comes to tell us that you have 1,000, I don't have money, so that's all you get. Don't come and ask me for anything. We don't want that leader in Ghana. It's too old. We want futuristic leaders who are taking us to the promised land. They must have the know-how. Akufo-Addo was campaigning in a situation where Ghana was brokest in the history of the global world. And he was saying that the things that the government has stopped because Ghana is broke, if he becomes president, he will restore it. He was adding something else that was not even part of our budget. Free secondary school education. He was promising it. He was telling people that I'll create factories for you. One district, one factory. Okudzeto Ablakwa sat on this program and said, of the one district, one factory Akufo-Addo created, it's only 9. That's what he said on Good Evening Ghana. The tape is there. Okudzeto Ablakwa said, only 9 factories, only 9. And I told him that, I'll come to the video in a minute. I told him that if every president had been creating 9, after promising 100 factories, he created 9. Rawlings created 9. Kufuor created 9. Mills created 9. Mahama created 9. Akufo-Addo could have decided to create 0. He sat on the program and said Akufo-Addo has created only 9. He promised 100, he created only 9 factories. You've never heard some before in Ghana. Which president has done factories? He was promising 1 district, 1 factory. Today you are drinking a Kofi juice. The other I brought some to the studio. It is evidence of the fact that the promise has been delivered. And then you sit there and tell us that I'm running for president. I'm a former president. I'm a former vice president. Yeah, I don't have know-how. Whatever Akufo-Addo or whatever government has left for you, you will not be able to do anything about it. You are not telling us of possibilities. Listen to Akufo-Addo's video. Listen to how confidently he made the promises of 2016, which he has delivered. If he hasn't delivered anything, he's delivered free SHS. And he's delivered more than he promised in free SHS. He delivered day schools, dining hall, day schools eating. He has delivered 1 district, 1 factory. Forget about all the factories. Ekumfi is existing. We are exporting. 1 dam, 1 village, 1 dam. They haven't delivered. Go to Boku, is there. What are we talking about, Ghanaians? We want leaders who don't have know-how? Is that how we want to run the future of this country, this delicate country, this great, rich country? Please, give us a break. Show the video.
So not require 1 district, 1 factory, and the Bambi organ and medicine here. And my point is that's and yet for press a baby, and say, and the main factory, about the Simon and the Sikani is and if you have a brewer and door and drag and processing factory, and Baby and more fee, yeast, all kinds of things. I wish Sansi said, that's all. Yakupon require Ben Shapa, Ben Masenge, Sessage, and factory, the Baby Simon, and make you also to you.
Now, sometimes you can understand them, okay? Sometimes you can understand them. When Akufo-Addo said that, I think because some politicians don't understand that their role is to look at what they have been given and grow it. The purpose of a politician is to grow whatever you have been given. Whether you are a member of parliament, whether you become minister, whether you are made a deputy minister, whatever you are, your spiritual and godly purpose is to grow. But some people see things in an impossibility context. So when Akufo-Addo said he was going to do free SHS, I'm going to show you the video. Somebody said Akufo-Addo is lying. He cannot do free SHS because to them it's not possible. You see, they are not being dishonest. They are honest. Because they look at the kitty and they see that this is impossible. They don't understand that superior learning can make it possible. Listen to him. This is what he said about Akufo-Addo. He said it's a lie.
When today you are hearing Nana Akufo-Addo and the MPP going all over the country shouting free SHS, free SHS, free SHS. That is what you call all lie be lie. When today you are hearing Nana Akufo-Addo and the MPP going all over the country shouting free SHS, free SHS, free SHS. That is what you call all lie be lie.
Video doesn't lie. Video, it never lies. All lie be lie truly? Fifi Kwete? All lie be lie because you can't do it. And these are people who want us to elect them to office again. They want to be re-elected into power to continue with the lack of progress, to continue with the things that they were doing when they said they were going to give Ghanaian children free education at Presec, at Wesley Girls, at Ebri Girls, at Koforidua Setek. He stood there and said, "Oh, lie be lie." He was Minister for Agriculture. They sat in the cabinet and they said, "This is not possible." Akufo-Addo came and delivered it. And because sometimes we all forget some of these things, they are running for elections and they have the iPhone 3 to come and tell us, "Oh, Akufo-Addo has spent all your money, so we don't have the money." Akufo-Addo spent the money to educate 1.8 million Ghanaians. What did you spend Ghana's money on? Akufo-Addo came to spend that money that you say we are broke and he's broke. On 1.8 million Ghanaians have gone to school on the back of the taxpayers' money. They've gone to school on the back of the tax. Now, I want to know how. I want to know how behind. So Fifi Kwete, please take it easy. Take it easy. If there's something that you don't know how to do, you're a politician, another person is a politician, you can ask him. You can just ask them. Because we are looking for leaders who have the know-how. That's what we want. We want leaders who have the know-how. Not leaders who think that another leader promises something and they say, "All lie be lie." That it is a lie. Why is it a lie? Today we are in 2023. He should be apologizing. If I was in NDC party and he is running for general secretary, I'll tell you that, "Chief, can you apologize for that so that we can all move forward?" Fifi Kwete should be apologizing. That he thought that is not possible. It has been demonstrated to be possible. This is the quality of leaders we are looking for. I'm going to bring my Ghana card and I'll show you something. This is the quality of leaders we are looking for. Not leaders who come and plead with us that, "Hey, your money is so small, so I can't do it." I'll give you one last example. A producer, so from this example of Akufo-Addo, we are going into the Bible and then we'll take it from there. Now, this is the last example. During COVID, the whole world didn't know what to do. Akufo-Addo came out and said something. He was eulogized at the WHO headquarters in Switzerland. Akufo-Addo said that, "My people, I don't understand what is happening. Me too, I've become a victim. We all don't understand what is happening. Let us do what we can to stay alive. The cost of this may be that our economy will go down. But that one, leave it to me. I'm your leader. I don't know how to raise dead people. As for economy, I will do it." Listen to him.
As we have demonstrated over the course of the last 3 years, where we inherited an economy that was growing at 3.4% and transformed it into one which has grown by an average of 7% over the last 3 years, I assure you that we know what to do to bring back our economy back to life. What we do not know is how to bring people back to life. We will therefore protect people's lives, then their livelihoods.
That's a leader who has know-how. He says, "I do not know how to bring dead people. I'm not God. But as for economy, I can deliver it." Because we delivered an economy that was growing at 3.4%. In a 3.4% economy, he promised free SHS. In a 3.4% economy, he promised teacher training and nurses allowances. In a 3.4% economy, he promised one district, one factory. If the economy was running at 3%, he added more debt to the economy to save the Ghanaian people. And you say they don't understand economics? We are saying that these are the people, every day they say, "Dr. Baumia, Akufo-Addo." These people don't understand economics? This is the one who understands economics without a know-how? I am totally shocked at President Mohammed's advices. I don't know what's happening. Why are you advising the president? The president must run an election that is solid. He must be loaded with know-how, loaded. He should not be the one to come and tell us that I don't know what to do. You have 2,000, so please don't come and ask me for anything. A leader of the 21st century, 2024, who doesn't talk about possibilities, he's taking us back. No way. Ghana will not do this. We will not do this. We want a leader with know-how. That's how we are going to run our lives going forward. We now have free SHS. We are demanding free university. President Kufuor said free FQ, we got it. Akufo-Addo said free SHS, we got it. The one who comes, you are giving us free university. It is possibilities. We can do it. It's possible. We are moving. We are not going back. We want know-how. Play President Mohammed's video, but we don't want him to say this ever again. Show the video.
And I'll plead with the teachers' unions, NAT and NAGRAT and UTAG and TEWU and all of them. And all of you are clamoring for allowances, increase in your allowances and so on and so forth. Let me caution you that in 2025, inshallah, after we take over, we will show you the books and the finances of this country. And you realize the harm that the MPP administration has done to Ghana's economy. This country is broke. And so we would beg you that when we come into office, give us a bit of a honeymoon. Let's put things in place so that we can bring the economy back on its feet. And when we have done that, we can accede to your demands again. And that's why I'm being very measured in the promises that I make. Because we all know the crisis in which this country has been plunged.
Yes, we don't want that. We don't want that. President Mahama, come to us. We don't want you to take over and tell us whatever they have left. Former presidents have the know-how to deliver it. Whatever they've left, you can deliver it. You should be able to deliver it. We need the know-how. Will I add the word technical? Let me write it here. Okay, let me take an arrow from here. Hey, am I doing the right thing? Why is it not coming? Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. Technical. Technical know-how. Technical know-how. Technical know-how. Technical know-how. So there's a story in the Bible, where our Lord Jesus, and that's how I'm ending this part. Our Lord Jesus asked people to bring talent. He gave them talent. And he told the parable. It's a parable. He told the parable himself. The people brought him talent. Let's see what he said. Yeah, great. That's going to go on the screen. All right. So take the Good Evening Ghana from there so people can see it well. So this is in Matthew chapter 25, verse 14 to 30. The guy who had 5 talents, he came back with 10. That's what God likes. The one who had 3 talents came back with 6. The one who had 1, he came back with 1. What did the Lord say about him? Oh, have you prepared that? Yes. This is what the Lord said about him. And it's on your screen, viewers. He said, "You wicked and lazy servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown, and gather where I have not scattered seed. So you ought to have deposited my money with the bankers, and at my coming I would have received back my own with interest. So take the talents from him and give it to him who has 10 talents. Hallelujah be to the resurrected Lord." Amen. So this is even the conceptualization of our Lord Jesus Christ. People shouldn't say, whatever is there, I can't do anything about it. No, it's defeatist. It's not godly. So in the 21st century, we're looking for a leader. We want a leader with a know-how. Okay, that is the end of my sermon on President Mahama. Few more stories to come. Kisi Ajabin, Fifi Kwiti, Elvis Efri Ankra. All right. Now, the video, the one that's worrying me is the video of if I die, my son die. Actually, the thing is serious. I'll show you. They have some cross there. I promise to die. If I give information to Gabriel Chidaku, I will die. If I give information to John Boedu, I will die. If I don't die, my son should die. If I give the information to Kweko Foresiama of Central Region, I will die. My son should die. Hey, have a look at the video.
Say by this sword, I vow
But if I compromise,
and
sold my party out,
sell my party out
for money,
for
this coming election, may I die, and my firstborn, also die, in my place, so help me God.
Amen.
Say, as I help this soul, if I compromise, and sell my party out, in an exchange of money, on this coming election, may I die, and my firstborn, die in my place, so help me God.
Viewers, I don't know what to say, but I don't know where to start and where to. Please show it again. Show the Elvis Ankara one pair. You see?
Say by this sword, I vow. But if I compromise, and sold my party out, for money, for this coming election, may I die, and my firstborn, also die, in my place, so help me God.
Amen.
Please, lawyers who are looking at the Children's Act, can you tell us something? Lawyers who are looking at the Children's Act, can you tell us something? The child is in the house. His father is a politician. Noble job. Being a politician is a noble job. His father is a politician. It's unknown to him. His father has gone to some room with some spiritualists carrying a sword 6 foot. Then he put some cloth there, stand in it. The politician stands in it, noble man. He said, may I die? The child at home too should die. In the video, there's one that he says that by the time, may I die, then by the time I get home, my child too is dead. But if you die, where will you get home for the child too to die? Hey! I don't know what to say. Hey! What is this? Now we are hearing conflicting stories that, oh, it's not 2024, it was 2020. Whether it was 1979, 82, 26. What is this? Is this now part of politics? A noble job to lead people. Oh, because I've been touching the thing, it's wiping off. Sorry. Let me clean it nicely. Okay. Technical know-how. How, like this. Technical know-how. Let me put exclamation marks there. 3 exclamation. Or 3 exclamation for NDC. That I had 1 for Good Evening Ghana, 1 for Metro TV, 1 for Black Stars. Let me see. May I die? Then please show the video last one. Show it again.
Say by this sword, I vow. But if I compromise, and sold my party out, for money, for this coming election, may I die, and my firstborn, also die, in my place, so help me God.
Amen.
Say, as I held this sword, if I compromise, and sell my party out, in an exchange of money, on this coming election, may I die, and my firstborn, die in my place, so help me God. Say, I shall held unto this sword. I make a vow. But if I sell my party out,
in an
exchange of money,
on anything,
That's it. May I die? And my firstborn die. And my firstborn die. Before I get home. Before I get home. So help me God. So help me God. God bless you. You'll be my friend. I receive it. I just saw your position that.
Viewers, did you see that? He said, you die, then by the time he gets home, his firstborn is there. Is it not children's rights abuse? Please, the lawyers, can you check the Children's Act? We have to take an action on this one. Can NCC say something about it? The Commission on Civic Education, can they say something about it? What is the meaning of this? What is this? What politics is? I've been covering politics since 1996. What kind of politics is this? This has nothing to do with any political party. What is this? But even if you go to church and you're a charismatic Christian, should you submit yourself to that? I'm a charismatic Christian. I will never submit myself to something like this. Never, God forbid. Never, ever. I should go and stand in some man who is holding some cross. He wasn't there when Christ resurrected. He wasn't standing there. He should go hold this on cross. Who is he? He is telling me I should say, look at him. He's telling me, may I die? Then I'm following him. Is that part of the politics? Politics is noble. Gentlemen, Shakespeare was a politician. Winston Churchill was a politician. Oliver Tambo was a politician. Nelson Mandela was a politician. J.B. Dankwa was a politician. William Oforiatta was a politician. Reverend Neves Mumba in Zambia was a politician. Kenneth Kaunda was a politician. This is not politics. This is evil. This is evil. This is not politics. It's evil. It is subjecting yourself to demons. It's not politics. Tony Blair was a politician. Bill Clinton was a politician. Winston Churchill was a politician. Amilcar Cabral was a politician. This is not politics. This is evil. This is demonic. What is this? This is demonic. Why should our children be watching this? Why should young children in school, contesting for elections at university, contesting for elections in secondary school in pre-sec, wanting to be politicians of the future, see this demonic activity and suppose that this is the politics that they'll be running into? They will run away with their talent and we will not have the know-how. They will take their talents to medicine. They will take their talents to law. They will take their talents to teaching in the university. They will take their talents to anthropology. They will not bring their talents to politics. They will not bring their medicine to politics. They will not bring their law to politics. Politics will be deficit of the know-how. If this is what we are showing the children about the future of politics, this is not politics. This is demonic. This is evil. Not politics. You go and tell some young man who is holding some cross that your children who are at home, class 5, class 6, form 1, class 2, they are learning, they are happy, they are watching Teletubbies, they are waiting for daddy to come home and tell daddy that I saw your photograph in a newspaper, and you are taking his life by the word of a useless somebody holding some stick, say that it's a cross, and he put cloth down that he should stand on it, self-acclaimed. They should be arrested under the Children's Act. They should be prosecuted for calling innocent children dead. Nonsense. Evil. What is this? Stop that. These are not jokes, my viewers. These are not jokes. This is the future of a country. The future of children. This is the future of children. And you go and stand there and say, Mayor, if you want to die, die. Even you shouldn't die because your children look up to you. You don't die because of politics. I love Jacob Echebilamte for one thing. In the campaign to 2000, he will always say, Inshallah, not one Ghanaian blood will be shed for the election. Obechebelamte, may he rest in peace. He always made that point, that Inshallah, not one Ghanaian blood will be shed. Even your blood shouldn't be shed. And then you say you will die. If you die, what's going to happen to your children? The family that you have started, what's going to happen to them? You are not just dying, but they should also die. Because you spoke to John Buedu. You are NDC and you spoke to John Buedu. You are NDC and you spoke to Gabriel Chedaku. So your children should die. What is even the contextual meaning? If I sell my party for money, what activity is sell the party for money? If MPP pay John Mahama money, has he sold the party for money? If John Mahama is out of office and MPP say, oh, Charlie, we've not heard from President Mahama for a while. Christmas time, Charlie, bring a hamper. Charlie, put some money in it. God is going to give to John Mahama. Has he sold NDC for money? Is that what they mean by you sold your party for money? How much money doesn't exchange hands between politicians in parliament? How much money doesn't exchange hands between politicians globally? How much money? Politicians of opposite side, Labour and Conservative, blue and red, GOP and DNC. How much money doesn't exchange hands? Is that the meaning that they've sold their party for money and therefore they should die and their children should die? Oh. When President Mahama was president, Christmas time, he would send hampers to politicians. Dan Latte received hampers from Professor Mills. Nana Akufo-Addo received hampers from everywhere. President Mahama received hampers. J. Akufo received them. It could be coming from MPP, it can be coming from NDC. It could be money. So he should die and his children die. Abba! What is this? What is this? What is this? Anyway, just 15 minutes at the top of the hour at 11 o'clock. What's the next story? Viewers, forgive me. Sometimes I do outburst a little bit. Forgive me. I'm fine. Mm-hmm. Black Stars did not make us fine, but it's getting better. What if Ifikwete says where should vote for this thing? Okay. Should I take the break now and then we can deal with it later? How long is the break? 6 minutes break. Okay. Viewers, I have to love you and take the break. When we come back, I think we'll just go straight to Kisi Ajabin. We'll do the Fifi story later. We have an Asidun Ketia story as well. We'll go to it later. We have American story. So we'll jump some of them. Some of them we'll push for next week. And then we'll tell you about our coverage for Saturday so that you can be with us on Saturday when we come back. We'll tell you about our coverage. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, we continue with a fight with lawyer Kisi Ajabin and his team and our team. We are fighting. It is the interest of Ghana. I'm back.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Discover the perfect blend of quality, modern elegance and affordability with Kingdom Home Real Estate. At Kingdom Home Real Estate, we cater to both local and international clients, offering exceptional housing options in Ebri and Ikropong. Our properties are conveniently located, providing a tranquil atmosphere, top-notch security, and essential amenities such as electricity, water, and backup generators. Our strategic locations offer easy access to popular tourist destinations, all within a 30-minute drive from Accra. Visit us in Ikropong right after the Latte Junction, or in Ebri near the Ebri Girls Senior High School. Alternatively, you can reach us Kingdom Home Real Estate, where your dream home becomes a reality.
The biggest car center in Ghana, offering unparalleled round-the-clock service in autos and accessories. Nadam Autofix is the biggest distributors of used tires in Ghana, offering first-grade second-hand car tires of all rim sizes at both wholesale and retail prices. We are also the leading name in car sensor diagnostics, corrections and sales of car accessories. We excel in car washing and detailing with state-of-the-art steam engine washing machines that keep water away from your engine, ensuring a clean, healthy and responsive engine. Nadom Autofix, the first name in servicing, car accessories and car washing. Visit us today and experience the world of class difference. Find us today at Asoridaho, directly opposite Dansoman KFC and the Shell filling station. For more details, you can call us on 0503 244 266 or 0535 339823. Nado Motofix, Wukwain Sunyonko Papa.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
These adverts have been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fair missy way.
Prepacho Bantama.
Machasi.
A smile, the fresh breath.
Me Gidi say we use Kel 360 toothpaste. Some kind. Kel 360 toothpaste.
That's Kia. Kel 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Only Jom Kasan.
Kel 360 did the work. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling to Kel 360 toothpaste.
Happy.
Kel 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back to the show, viewers, and welcome back to the show. We have a lot coming up. We're going into Kisia Jabin stories, football, and all that. We'll find time for American election as well. Let me take the text messages. At 9 minutes at top of the hour, at 10 o'clock. This is Good Evening Ghana is live. Who should I start with, cameraman Fatih? Okay, Fatih first. What are people saying?
All right, thank you, Paul. So this is coming from Emmanuel Ous, and he says, this is very sad and serious. And Gideon said, the pastor said so, the FA anchor said so. Afuanyano says, why are they not swearing if they have taken Ghana's money? And now back to the Mahama story. Master Planner Junior Kentampo says the same person who is saying he is coming to do the 24 hours economy is now telling us the country is broke. Can a broke country run a 24 hours economy? Inconsistency, lack of plans and lies. Ghanaians should not fall for this propaganda. JDM has nothing to offer for this nation. Also, this is coming from AB Offa. He says, Paul, great and informative program. Coming from Derek Ofejina, he says, the mighty Paul is back, and I reckon he's come with unparalleled coverage. The nation is watching, and the youth is fixated on your informative program. Coming from Kasim Abu Sadiq, he says, the alternative is very scary and empty. John Dramani Mahama cannot help this country and the people in it. I wonder whether there are people who will be voting for him. We won't vote for him because he has started complaining even in opposition. JM cannot help this country. Coming from Shadrach says, it's rather a shame when people say President Mahama must come back because times are hard, forgetting he has been there and couldn't do it. Lastly, coming from Elom Kwame Phillips, he says, I remember I was going to my place of national service in 2013, when I heard JM saying Ghana is broke, we have eaten the meat and it's left with the bone. Politicians have no self-awareness. What do you have for us?
Okay, this is from Prince, and he says, Paul, you're doing what Napoleon couldn't do. And coming from Bright, he says, 2 days ago, I was pondering on why I wasn't receiving the notification. Well, you are now. And this is from Ebb. He says, Paul, great and informative program. Kudos. Anyway, I like your top. Simplicity is the best. Was the brand. And also coming from Papa B, concerning the President John Mahama speech, she says, show which books and finances. A bit of honeymoon in 4 years from the same man who said 4 years isn't enough. We don't have short memory, so all right, over to you, Angelo.
Okay, so Ahmed Abdul Rahim says, what role did Steve Biko play? I haven't heard his name from your sermon. And Opong Junior comment says, Steve led the Soweto Students Forum. Abdul Basit says, good evening to you and your industrious crew. My prayers and thoughts are with Palgrave Boachidankwa, who shall be endorsed emphatically by the delegates of Abuakwa North constituency this Saturday. Nikwao says, what I find interesting is how you're amazed by all these great African leaders who are mostly leftist in their view. Even Che Guevara, I wonder how you reconcile with that, with what you... This English is not Englishing. Elob Kwame Phillips says, Joe Biden is senile, corrupt and incompetent, but America is still prospering because they have built solid institutions that function outside the control of political forces. Henry Myers Abaji says, I don't normally do this poll, but your knowledge, style, and deep analysis sets you apart from the rest. Keep doing what you're doing. My late mother was right about you. Bravo. Now, moving on, got a few more from Ifanyano on the honeymoon issue. She says, how long is the political honeymoon? Harris Movement says, Apostle Paul is roasting my uncle. Derek Opong Dentist says, I saw another video with Opemu Mahama himself swearing, flanked by fine babes. I won't mention the names that he states here. Shadrach Mbelava says, this video, I think there can't be smoke without fire. When it's coming, it's doing. Now, again, on the monologue as Paul delivered earlier, Alice Sisi Nuhubamba says, what an excellent submission. Emmanuel Owuzu says, grown up and educated men like you, see what you're doing with your innocent children. And Grace Boache says, Paul, it's a sword they are holding, not a cross. And Daoud Abubakar Sadiq lastly says, it's a honeymoon, firstborn sort of politics. Back to you, Paul.
As for that video, oh, sorry. Somebody sent me a video I was watching. As for that video, a lot will be said about it on this program going into the election. With our Shosholoza inspiration, is going to be great. Let's still on Shosholoza. Julius Malema had been in Ghana, and he had been talking about something. Julius Malema, he knows how to sing Shosholoza more than anyone else. And I'm going to play what Julius Malema said. I'll give you a Shosholoza after. This is what he had to say about former presidents.
Because you are a former president, will still pay you pensions and give you protection and take care of you as long as you respect those who came after you. You have to ensure that democracy matures in such a manner in Africa, where the previous president does not make it his business to fight the current president. You must allow the new to lead with all their faults, because
the beginning of the video, it started in the middle, so we're going to show it again. So I'll just do the production again. So Madam Bookmaker, so we're starting again. Julius Malema was in Ghana. He is an apostle of Shosholoza, and so I'll play Shosholoza for you after this intervention by him. He spoke at the College of Surgeons. He had been invited to Ghana by Arise Ghana, and he spoke about them, about former presidents and what their role is. Some of our friends in the NDC don't like what he said. They purport that he was speaking against President Mahama. I don't know whether he was. Julius Malema would by now know that President Mahama, the former president of Ghana, is running for president. By now he would know, I'm sure. Even if he doesn't, he must have been briefed. So it stands to reason to think that when he was speaking in Ghana, he had President Mahama in mind. But I really cannot tell. But it just stands to reason. This is what he said.
because you are a former president, will still pay you pensions and give you protection and take care of you as long as you respect those who came after you. You have to ensure that democracy matures in such a manner in Africa, where the previous president does not make it his business to fight the current president. You must allow the new to lead with all their faults because you are the same. It doesn't mean you are perfect. The young ones who are coming after you will challenge the current one. No African leader who is on retirement should lead from the grave. They must all be like all other progressive former presidents who are statesmen at home waiting for courtesy visits and consultation and attending to honor state functions. Those are the duties of former presidents, because Africa must be stable. Africa must go through democracy at all times. And elections in Africa should never mean the blood on the floor. We Africans must hate seeing our own blood.
That was Julius Malema. What can I say? Nothing more useful to add. You know, when you read the judgments of the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, where the judges are more than one, and one judge is relied upon by his friends on the bench, and then they will just say that I have nothing more useful to add. I said, I have read the erudite judgment of Justice Dateba. I have nothing more useful to add. So I've heard what Julius Malema have said. I have nothing more useful to add. If viewers want to add, you can send a text to Good Evening Ghana Official, and then Fatih, Mikael, and Irabna will read it for us. Now, let's get back to it. So, what's Charles Bisu doing here, by the way? Is he contesting? Yeah, he is. I'm sure he will win. Okay. So, where am I dragging into where? They didn't show me, but I'll manage it. So I have these people here. This is Kisi Ajabe and Anas, the guilty party. I'm not sure why Charles Bisu is here. Producer, why is Charles Bisu here? Is he part of this story? What is his role? I'm talking football and Kisi Ajabe. Charles Bisu, Charles Edubuahin, under Kisi Ajabe's ruling. Charles Edubuahin. Talking about that. Charles Bisu there is not part of this story. Charles Edubuahin, on the basis that Kisi Ajabe had cleared him. Okay. You can come and do it. Come and do it. Give me Church Olozo whilst he's doing that, then it sings more. Oh, just that. Okay. Okay, I can talk about it. People know about it. All right, cool. So let me put the zero thing here. You change the color to black. Oh, it's me? Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. Now, viewers, this is our controversial thesis. This Anas Arimiyao Anas is responsible for what has happened. The emptiness of Ghana football is Anas Arimiyao Anas. What did he do? He hoodwinked everybody, dribbled everybody, deceived everybody into creating an image for himself and bringing down Kwesi Nyantakyi. Anas brought Kwesi Nyantakyi from here to here. Kwesi Nyantakyi was here. Anas brought him to here based on what? Lies. Based on what? Fabrications. Based on what? Concoctions. Because they had a penchant for an unhealthy penchant and appetite for glass. And who are the guilty parties? Here, Anas Arimiyao and this Kisi Ajabe. They are the guilty parties. They are the two people responsible for the emptiness of our football. Kisi Ajabe was standing there. Kwesi Nyantakyi had appointed him as a committee chairman of the Football Association because he was a brilliant up-and-coming lawyer. He was in the company of Kwesi Nyantakyi in Dubai when Nyantakyi walked into the deadly trap of this Anas Arimiyao Anas. This wicked man. Wicked. He has a penchant for glass, an appetite for glass. What is journalism? Read it, analyze it, discuss it, and tell us the story. He puts cameras on his body, sat Kwesi Nyantakyi down with some regular guy from the streets, as Kennedy Japan says, regular guy in the streets of Dubai, put him down and says, Mr. Nyantakyi, come. Why was it? Nyantakyi was extremely successful with Ghana football. I had been speaking to him forever. He was passionate about the local league. Anas Arimiya Anas arranged to call him that somebody in Dubai wanted to sponsor the local league. He paid his own ticket and went to the person in Dubai. Because of his relationship, today he's not present again, we can say it. Because of his relationship with footballer George Oponwia, who had been president of Liberia, Kwesi Nyantakyi went to Dubai and said, you want to sponsor me? I also need to sponsor George Oponwia. He's running for president of Liberia. He's a member of the football community and we love him. He took George Oponwia there twice. They didn't meet the businessman because Oponwia was there. They knew what they wanted to do. They were not sponsoring the Ghana League at all. They were not giving any money to sponsor the Ghana League. They wanted to find a way to disgrace Kwesi Nyantakyi so that Anas will be able to eat up his glass. Anas will eat up his glass. He goes to stand in Germany. And German children, small German children, are now pointing to his dishonesty. He stands before them and says he makes money from likes and ticks. He doesn't have a single studio. This table, he doesn't have some. Anas doesn't have a single studio to do video, to do likes and ticks. Criminals. He doesn't have a studio to do likes and ticks. German children expose him. The story is like the young child who saw Peter at the crucifixion of Jesus and said, you are one of them. And Peter said, I'm not. A small child embarrassed and disgraced Anas in Germany. He asked him, where do you get your money from? Then he's there, sheepishly looking, telling lies. Say, I get my money from likes and ticks. Newspaper, crusading guy, his likes and ticks. Has Anas got studio before? Has Anas produced a television program before to get likes and ticks? Total criminality. And today we are complaining. Kwesi Nyantakyi had a team, All Stars. I sat in Alisa Hotel with him, not far from here. He will call me and say, Paulus, come. I said, where are you? He said, I'm in Alisa Hotel. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm watching Spanish football. I said, oh, me, I don't want to watch Spanish. He said, you British people, Spanish football, ball, say, come and let's watch. Then I'll be asking him that, but your players are All Stars. Why don't they play for Black Stars? I say, oh, my players cannot play Black Stars. Oh, but they do well. I sell them to Europe 2nd Division. It's not bad. Kwesi Nyantakyi was president of the Football Association. Not one of his players at All Stars played for the Black Stars. Sly Tete was a member of the Football Association. I hear you, Neil Ante van der Poel. I hear you. But Sly Tete was a member of the Football Association. His players played for Black Stars. Name them. Michael Essien, superstar. Sule Muntari, superstar. Asamoah Gyan, superstar. Bafojan, superstar. Sly Tete produced superstar players. We are not saying that your players cannot play for Black Stars. That's why I say I hear you, Neil Ante van der Poel. But listen to this. We are not saying your players cannot play for Black Stars. But you're a football administrator. You know which player is good and which player is not good. Even me, I'm not a football administrator. I know that Baba Rahman is not good. I know. I'm not a football administrator. You are a football administrator. We know Asamoah Gyan is good. We know Dede Ayew is good. We know Ashimero is great. But we know that Baba Rahman is not good. Not that he's bad, but he's not good for Black Stars and the standards we know. He can play something. After all, he played for Chelsea. Kwesi Nyantakyi didn't play one of his players. And because of Anas's penchant and appetite for greed, and go and tell German children that you make money from likes and ticks. The impudence of it. These are the people who have destroyed Ghana football. Kisi Ajabe here, who has disgraced himself before the High Court today. He and Anas and Rimiya Anas, they have made Ghana football 3 empty circles. And we are looking for who? Keto Kreku. What has he done? There's a GBC post today, maybe they'll show it, that are we looking for Kwesi Nyantakyi again? How can we, Ghana, since Ohini Gyan, we have not been able to nurture any great football administrator up to the level of FIFA. Kwesi Nyantakyi was the one who was getting there. And how did Kwesi get there? By dint of his own hard work. Kwesi became a lawyer. He was practicing with Thaddeus Sorry. I think at some point even Ambrose Derry. He would spend all his time at Galka. My friend, Tony Usomo family, he rest in peace. He introduced me to Kwesi Nyantakyi because at that time, Galka's office was at the stadium. Every day, Kwesi Nyantakyi is there. I say, but the lawyer, the clubs are coming. The clubs have no money to pay him. They are bringing their cases to lawyer. The DFA disciplinary committee, Kwesi worked his way through. Nyahota Maklo, the great Nyahota Maklo, he identified Kwesi Nyantakyi and said, this guy can be GFA president. Nyahota Maklo. And that's how Kwesi Nyantakyi became. Sir Blatter didn't know him. Sir Blatter met him and he fell in love with him. Issa Hayatu didn't know him. Hayatu met him and fell in love with him. Go and ask Kofi Amwa. Kwesi Nyantakyi is the reason why we were able to hold CAN 2008. At that time, Egypt wanted it. South Africa wanted it. Nigeria wanted it. Because of the contest of Kwesi Nyantakyi, the tournament came to Ghana. We were great for it. And Anas's greed, Kisi Ajabi's greed, their greed and appetite for criminality. They go and throw money at him. When the man has spent his money to come to Dubai and you tell him that this is your money for the Dubai, they throw it at him, show a film and say that sack him. Greedy people. Greed. God will forgive them. Greedy people. God will forgive. Kisi, I'm coming to Kisi again. Oh, this is not the only Kisi I'm doing tonight. He's disgraced himself in the High Court today. Greedy people. I don't need Richard Ofori. Oh, sorry, viewers. These people are greedy. It is the reason why we are suffering today. Because this man will have by now been executive member of FIFA. Perhaps the first African to become FIFA president. If Kwame Nkrumah had power, he will rise up from his grave and come and support Kwesi Nyantakyi to be FIFA president. But Kwame Nkrumah is dead. And the people who are alive today, who have the power, they are greedy for glass. Let me write it down. Glass. These people, they want glass. Yes, glass factory, glass factory. That's what their greed wants. Greedy people. These two people, greed, equalize them to glass factory. Greedy people, wicked people. They just want to get fame without hard work. Put camera on yourself and get fame. As for Kisi there, he will have questions to answer with his soul because Kwesi Nyantakyi was standing with him when he walked into the trap. Kwesi has told this story to a lot of people. Now, that's not where the story ends. The greed we are talking about, there are people whose greed supported Anas's greed. There are people who paid the money. That thing he says likes and takes. That's the question the German child was asking him. And he didn't know the question was going to come. Some of us knew that the question is going to come. And alert him. Anywhere he goes, we are planting questions for him because there's a tide coming after him. And us, tell him. We knew the question was going to come. We knew that question will come. He didn't know. We have more questions. He should keep talking. Everywhere he goes, there will be a question. You have to answer it. And he was stunned by the question and we were laughing. And he said, I get money from likes and takes. Has he got studio? Has he got studio to get money from likes and takes? Dishonesty. Total dishonesty. That's who they are. That's who they are. These people, that's who they are. They walk around feeling that they can blackmail people and everybody should be afraid of them because if you are doing something wrong, they do the most wrong. Kisi Ajabin. Do you know how much money? I'll say it again. Do you know how much money? Do you know how much money? Greedy people. Do you know how much money? And that's the Ghana that we are in. This is the Ghana that people have stood at Labadi Beach Shore, 1975, praying for Ghana. Mr. Samoa, he was my teacher in Presec. Later, he became senior house master. Mr. Samoa has spent about 100 days of his life fasting and praying for Ghana, only for greedy people to destroy the country. Greedy people. Pentecost Church Assemblies of God, they've been praying for Ghana since 1962, and Ghana will see the day of light. And we are still building up towards there. Then you have people like this, greedy people, lazy people, easy. They can't apply themselves. So they have to do some phenomenon to get glass factory. Glass, that is them, glass factory. That's who they are. So when we are talking Ghana football today, it is the people we are looking to hang is these people. Go and ask them that. Now, where's the story? They do the same thing to Charles Edubuahin. They call Charles Edubuahin somewhere, and then they give him $40,000. Then they film it. After we mounted pressure on Kisi Ajabe, and after so much money, now how did the pressure come? The pressure came because we made reference to money. So much money, too much money. Then Kisi Ajabe comes embarrassingly to come and clear Charles Edubuahin. Now, viewers, have a look at this. The circumstances of the Charles Edubwahin video is the same circumstances as Kwesi Nyantakyi's video. If therefore, Kisi Ajabin, one of the principal actors of both videos, one of the principal originators of both videos, I don't know what we should do with that day that Kisi Ajabin was appointed special prosecutor. That day, we should do something with it. We should carry the name of the day to the altar and sacrifice something to God so that He will forgive us our sins. That day that Kisi Ajabin was made, especially if it's the days of Hebrew Israel, they will all come to the Holy of Holies and they will cry and beg God, and we should do that. That day that Kisi Ajabin was made special prosecutor, we should all atone for our sins and beg God that He may have mercy on Ghana and not to deliver us wicked people like this anymore. Wolf in sheep's clothing, wicked people. They don't inspire nothing. They are just greedy. They inspire zero. Greed is in their heart and their minds. May the Lord forgive them. You came and said, Kisi Ajabin came and said, Charles Edubwahin hasn't done anything wrong. It stands to reason, therefore, that Kwesi Nyantakyi didn't do anything wrong. Nothing wrong. Kwesi Nyantakyi has granted an interview to Bolare. Beautiful interview. Beautiful interview. And in that interview, he said that very soon he will mention their names. We are waiting. I know them, but we are all waiting. Kwesi Nyantakyi will mention their names and will build up a story and we will show you where money was given for what. And you will see the greed of an ass who stands before German children and say he gets money from likes and ticks. Likes and ticks. That's where he gets money from. The greed of an ass, supported by Kisi Ajabin, his teacher. His teacher will say, his TA will say, whatever they did at the Faculty of Law, the two of them know. We will get to that. We are getting to that. His teacher or is something. Greed. Now they have some lady at the Football Association. The journalists have given me the information. I'm going to touch her next week. Because for us, we always want the information. Say, we don't lose battle on this. Because we don't fight with spears and swords. Come in the name of the Lord of hosts. So there's no battle that we lose. Today, we have won the Sicily Power battle. Kisi Ajabin has been disgraced. I'll come to that in a minute. How disgraced he was in the court. And he's whitewashing it on media to say he has withdrawn. He hasn't withdrawn anything. He was disgraced. I'll come to that. They have brought a lady there. Kisi Ajabin and us. They have brought a lady to the FA who is doing women's football. The amount of money that she's blowing, we are doing the audits. Holding handbag. Tell her, she's a lawyer. I'm coming after her. I'll show her that we've done this for 25 years. She will see. You think you can come and take tax? Go and do your law and make money. You are coming to thief taxpayers when they are doing women's football. Women's football. I don't know why all the journalists call me. Say, boss, this one you have to do something about. Women's football lady, lawyer. Go and practice your law and make money. Don't come and touch taxpayers' money here. I will teach you a lesson. I will teach you a lesson. We have been doing this 25 years. Come. We'll see. We are doing it. It is Kisi Ajabin and us who have brought that lady there. He's holding handbag. The amount of money, if you see it, you will be frightened. $16,000. He's going for conference. Next week. The Ghana football, we are coming to cut it into pieces. Dissect it in kitty. Then everybody will hear. But the beginning is Anas and Kisi Ajabin. So, explain to me. Kisi Ajabin, having cleared Charles Edubwahin, is Nyantakyi also cleared? If Nyantakyi is cleared, what should we do to Anas? Should we prosecute Anas for malicious prosecution? Should we prosecute Anas for malicious prosecution against Kwesi Nyantakyi? Look at where Ghana football was going. We hosted CAN 2008. CAN 2008, we didn't even win. But we were all excited. The quality of play of the Black Stars. Oh my goodness. It was just beautiful. I remember going to lobby Kwesi Nyantakyi those days. I'll tell the story. I have to confess. I was here when Young Pofanka called me. Said, Charlie, he has a video for me to look at. I said, what is it? This must be 2007. Yeah. I said, what is it? Said, Charlie, some player, you foresee him. I said, player? Yeah, you foresee him. I said, what is his name? He said, his name is Junior Agogo. I said, what position does he play? He said, he's a striker. I said, but we have Asamoah Gyan. You see, when Asamoah Gyan and Balfour were coming, for some reason, I always liked Balfour. In fact, I always preferred Balfour. I don't know why. I've asked people that, am I wrong? Was I wrong? Was Balfour not? You see, if you watch the two of them play, a technical person watching football, Balfour has the ability to turn faster than Asamoah. I always thought so. So for me, Balfour was my star. But then I saw Asamoah growing Or maybe because Bafo was sort of flirting with Asante Kotoko, I kind of liked him. I don't know. But Bafo was my man. Then I saw that Asamoah Gyan was growing. So when Yabo Franka brought me this guy, I said, oh, Charlie, but we have Asamoah Gyan. I said, hey, Charlie, the guy is good. I should show the video on Good Evening Ghana. So we did, though. But before we did, I asked Yao in the conversation, what team does he play for? He mentioned it. It didn't sound familiar to me. I said, this in Division what? He won't say. Division what? He won't say. Division what? He won't say. So time came and I played the thing. Now I asked him that, but the guy is in Division what? He said, oh, he's in Division 2. I said, oh, Ampo Fanga. Division 2 boy can play for Black Stars. He said, you watch the video. But when you watch the video, Ampo Fanga is right. Tell you, the guy's converting ability, Agogo's, may he rest in peace though, Agogo's converting ability was super. 9 out of 9, something like that. Around the penalty area, Charlie, the guy was scoring. So I saw Kwesi and I said that, Charlie, the Black Stars, how? He said, oh, but our Black Stars team is settled. Also, be here will join, he mentioned me. I said, oh, but what about Agogo? Then he started giving me fans. Paulo, he laughed. I said, hey, are you part of the Agogo team? Charlie, the guy is playing too far. I said, me too, I thought so, but when you look at the video, Charlie, it's not bad. It's okay, come. Who gave you Agogo? I said, oh, it came from you. Then he laughed. He said, well, Claude Leroy will decide. But anyway, we'll call him, you know. That's the kind of GFA person Kwesi was. Approachable, easy to deal with. He spends all his time on football. He understands everything about football. He knows everybody in football. I traveled with him to Cairo, a CAF conference. I was in Kofi Amor. Kwesi was there before time. We're in Cairo. And everybody, Kwesi knew everybody by name. In fact, he even spoke some words of French. And Kwesi was telling me that, look, in CAF, the French are more powerful than the English. Oh. I said, really? He said, but African country, English, we are just big countries. So, but in numbers, there is the French. So in CAF, you have to learn how to say some French and a little bit of things. Everybody was coming to him to lobby for them. Kwesi was being lobbied for elections in Niger. He was being lobbied for elections in somewhere. Somebody was envious of him. Somebody was jealous of it. And he looks for a greedy, wicked man. Why won't he find? He will find an ass. Okay. Time is going. I'll leave it. And then we can continue on Tuesday. We have an extensive coverage of the election. Okay, let me take the text messages and then I'll wrap it up. Let's do the text messages now and then we have to wrap it up. Okay. Yes.
All right, so Prince Kwejo Osei says Ghanaians are not ready to vote for any incompetent former president. We need fresh ideas. Coming from Matthias, he says, a country where a former president, Mahama, is always fighting government and have since not congratulated the president is not promising any honeymoon. Coming from Inshraba Anelka, he says, broken Ghana, yet NPP government led by Nana Bawumia keep paying government workers, yet Mahama couldn't pay teachers and chalks was a big problem in schools when Ghana was not broke. So Mahama should give us a break. And Mahama is a serial caller, and his serial caller talks is not a place for marriage honeymoon. Coming from Daniel Akani says, Paul, I really wish Ghana's democracy has grown to the extent where people understand the essence of leadership as you rightly expose, but honestly, Ghana is not there yet. Mr. Mahama will win the election because of the same comments you deem unacceptable from a leader. The Ghanaians cause that honesty. And then lastly, coming from Safiano Adams, he says, good evening, Paul. It's fascinating and interesting to see how former President John Mahama, who has been at every level of the organogram of governance, displays such desperation. But what is assured on the table is his lack of vision and foresight to propel the economic gains to a desirable level. The economic gains to a desirable level Ghanaians would wish in the unlikely event he is voted as the president of this country. And Jacob Kubele says, good evening, Paul. We are learning a lot from you on this program. God bless you and long live. Good evening, Ghana.
All right, coming from Gertrude Barr, she says, truth hurts. Say it all, Paul. And Baba says, but wait, who appointed the OSP? Coming from Matthias, he says, so can't Kisie Jabin be removed from all this important office of the special prosecutor? And also coming from Doris, she says, no size, Paul. You are simply excellent. Keep it up, Angelo.
Okay, so Mawukwenya Yawaguba, she says, Mr. Paul, I'll be sure why. Easy does it. So this message is from Gary Kipusiga, and it says, today's touchscreen analysis is a heavy salvos and uppercuts that I think the naysayers can't assimilate, but will rather resort to attacking a person rather than deflating the substance of your presentation. What GM needs to know is, in the face of all his lamentations and complaints about the performance of this government, the government of the day has been able to pay consistently professional allowance for teachers since 2019, and a lot of improvements in our education sector. Greetings to the Director of Legal Affairs for MPP, Lawyer Gary. Okay. Also, we have from Kwame Boateng. Says, let's go back to the basics. Development of youth football is the best way to build formidable national team. Colts, Milo Championship, inter-school football, etc. And lastly, we have from Elom Kwame Phillips. He emphasizes, bring Kwesinya Techi back. Well, Paul, let's see what you have to say about that. Back to you. Okay, I have another story on SML. But I will do it on Monday. The SML contract. There are too many criminals in Ghana who are masquerading as journalists and masquerading as something. And then I also have that Sensu Boachi story, which somehow I couldn't come to it. Even the MPP story, somehow we couldn't come to it. We'll deal with that at the weekend. On Saturday, we have a full presentation of Good Evening Ghana from morning till night. We have two teams. One will be in Kumasi, one will be in Accra. And then we have a studio discussion, which I will lead later in the day here in the night from about 8 o'clock about the outcome of the results. We wish them very well. I have to say a very good wish to Gabo. Gabo is going to win in Domiko Abenya. He's going to win for all of us. And all his friends from Presec are supporting him. Michael, Aaron Michael Okwe is running for Domiko Abenya's parliamentary seat. He's been there, he's done that, he's worked hard, he's been Ghana's ambassador to India successfully, and he now leads the Free Zones board as chief executive. Please vote for him. And then we'll be going to Kumasi. We understand that Asensu Boachi is cool, he's going to get it. We understand that Matthew Poku Prempe is cool, he's going to get it. There'll be a big coverage from Kumasi over there. Esla also is locked horns with Ronnie Nicole in Dansoman. That's an interesting one. We are going to be looking at that very, very closely as well. I get the sense that the minister is ahead. But we have to wait and see what happens on Saturday. Good luck to all candidates who are vying for the 27th January issue. Hawa Kumsin has my prayers. I hope that Hawa Kumsin can win. She has all my prayers and all my support. At 11:26 on the top of the hour, we have to end it there. It's my pleasure. SML contract. Our latest on it is coming. We have the SML contract. Our latest on it is coming. And then we also have Kisi Ajabin's story on how he exited the Cecilia Adapa. Don't worry about what you are hearing. From tomorrow, we are building up to MPP Congress. So when we come back, we will lay him on Isaac's table, and then we'll deal with it. Okay. All right. Give me Chon Sholoza. That's how we end the show tonight.